people are looking to this Parliament to explain the lack of hope that's not just in Attawapiskat, but in so many Indigenous communities.
Parliament holds an emergency gathering after 11 teenagers attempted suicide last weekend in the remote Aboriginal community.
I note the gravity.
Macedonian police used tear gas to disperse migrants as tensions rise along the Greek border. City officials say the iconic Toronto sign already needs more than $100,000 worth of work. Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Sarah Wickett, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. Politicians in Ottawa called an emergency debate to discuss the ongoing mental health crisis in the remote First Nation community of Attawapiskat.
Called the situation in Attawapiskat heartbreaking, but it is up to us as parliamentarians to turn this into a moment of hope-making. That's why I'm asking my colleagues to work with me, to work together.
100 residents of Attawapiskat took part in a candlelight walk last night as a way to show support for the youth in crisis. Minister of Health Jane Philpott says the issues facing Attawapiskat are being faced by First Nation communities across the country.
We've been in touch with National Chief Bellegarde, the local Chief Shishis, as well as other Indigenous leaders in the community, and made sure that the mental health resources are in place immediately.
To the night. And so after that meeting,
Health Canada is sending 18 workers to the community, including a crisis coordinator as temporary relief. Tensions are growing at the border between Greece and Macedonia. Police have fired tear gas and rubber bullets at migrants who are trying to take down the fence at the border. Arguments broke out this morning, and Greek riot police intervened as migrants approached the fence, ordering the Macedonian officers to open the border. Tensions have been rising recently at the makeshift near Idomeni, where around 10,000 migrants have been stranded since February. Pope Francis will travel to the Greek island of Lesbos to meet with migrants next weekend. The Pope announced a one-day trip in Vatican earlier today. He will travel with the head of the Orthodox Christians and the head of the Greek Orthodox Church. The visit aims to show support for the refugees and draw attention to the crisis in Europe. Pope Francis called on Catholics to pray for migrants stranded at the Greek border. Tomorrow will mark 2 years since Boko Haram militants abducted over 200 schoolgirls from their sleeping quarters in Nigeria. The Nigerian protest group Bring Back Our Girls walked the streets of Abuja today, tying red ribbons around trees indicating the route of their walkathon. The walk is a reminder to Nigerians that there are still 219 girls missing. None of the girls kidnapped that night had been found, and the families of those girls are demanding answers. Meanwhile, more than 12,000 Boko Haram prisoners were rescued Monday, but the kidnapped schoolgirls weren't among them. Prosecutors in Panama have raided the Mossack Fonseca law office in connection with the Panama Papers. Police stationed themselves outside the office while prosecutors searched inside. The Panama government promised an investigation of the firm after controversial documents began surfacing last week. Mossack Fonseca denied any wrongdoing in providing its customers with offshore accounts. On Tuesday, France placed Panama on a list of uncooperative tax jurisdictions. The Panamanian president says if France doesn't reconsider, his government will have to take diplomatic response measures. North Carolina's governor is changing part of a controversial law implemented last month that affects members of the LGBT community. The law will now allow state employees to sue for discrimination based on their sexual orientation. But Governor Pat McCrory didn't change the most disputed provision of that law, which requires transgender people to use washrooms of their birth gender.
Not totally satisfy everyone, but the vast majority of our citizens want common sense solutions to complex issues.
The LGBTQ community says the governor hasn't gone far enough with his change to the law. It sparked nationwide criticism, and many businesses have canceled or postponed plans to bring new jobs to the city. To China now, where a construction disaster has claimed 18 lives. A collapsed crane at a construction site in southern China fell on workers' huts this morning. 18 people were dead and 33 were injured. Investigators say the crane was blown down by strong winds. CCTV says 133 people were sleeping inside the buildings when the crane fell. Over 200 rescuers are on scene with more than 40 rescue vehicles. GO train services have been suspended on the Lakeshore line after a pedestrian was struck and killed. The accident happened this morning near Greenwood and Walpole Avenue. Eastbound trains are holding at Union, and the westbound lines will end at the Danforth GO station while police investigate. It's not clear how the pedestrian got on the tracks. The huge Toronto sign that sits in front of City Hall is going to be costing us more money. Experts say it's already in need of repair. Our reporter Ashley Dara has the story.
This Toronto sign was put in the city for the 2015 Pan Am Games and was built to last temporarily. But the city has announced their plan to keep this sign up all year long. The 3D interactive sign is located at Nathan Phillips Square and stands 3 meters tall and 22 meters long. The display has blown up on social media, being the hotspot for Toronto selfies. But after hearing that $150,000 of taxpayers' money will be used to maintain the sign for the year, some people have mixed opinions. Humber News took to the halls of Humber to find out what students had to say about this sign.
Since the Pan Am Games in Toronto, and ever since then it's been like a big marquee sign, a big attraction for especially tourists like around the area of Canada, and and I think it should stay.
It's not necessary. If there's a trademark for Toronto, there's a CN Tower, and that's been around for years, and it's like adding more to it. It's just a sign that says Toronto, but you're in Toronto, so you already know. There's more trademarks. There's no need for extra stuff.
Awesome. People are outraged about the cost of the sign for this year alone. But what about future costs for a mobile Toronto sign?
Why? What's the point? Just have one location, like a landmark that everyone can go to. You don't have to try and milk the situation.
Yeah.
What's the point of it? I don't care for it, so it's not really. They shouldn't do it.
The total cost of the mobile sign would be nearly $200,000, which students think could be better spent in other areas of the city. Ashley Dara, Humber News.
It's only 4 months until Canada competes in the Rio Olympics, but the competition isn't the only thing that eyes will be on. Canada has just unveiled the new look for the athletes' uniforms. Our reporter Aaron D'Andrea previews the new line.
Canada looks games ready. The nation's Olympic and Paralympic athletes' looks for this summer's Rio Games were unveiled Tuesday to fans through Facebook Live. The designs feature new looks with classic twists. Hudson's Bay released new jackets, t-shirts, hats, and this blazer, which will be worn during the opening ceremonies. Some fans took to Twitter to express their pleasure and displeasure with the looks. However, athletes interviewed are excited about what they saw.
Anytime you wear the Canadian flag, it's a very proud moment. And I think all the Canadian athletes are excited when they see the gear and there's big flags or it says Canada on the back.
Seeing the uniform, getting a sneak peek at that really gets me all the more excited and it's just kind of a realization that everything is getting closer and closer and this is really happening.
These uniforms are meant to evoke Canadian pride and spirit, and we spoke to students here at Humber to get their reaction on the new gear.
I actually like them, but that big red jacket, not feeling it. If you're gonna wear that, I don't know, just don't.
Yeah, I like them. I think they're nice, for the most part.
Even the red jacket?
Well, that one's not so nice, but for the most part, they're pretty nice.
Yeah. I do like the design of the suits. I think they're very classy to represent our country.
I feel like some of them are too plain and these suit jackets are too exaggerated.
Yeah, same. It's too plain, and I think I need a little bit of designs and more colors.
The full line is expected to be released in store on May 4th, with prices ranging from $15 to $150. We'll have to see if the Olympic spirit will fill the halls of Humber come summer. Aaron D'Andrea, Humber News.
Here at Humber, it looks like the next generation is taking Inventions to another level. Humber News reporter Katie Jones took to the concourse to find out more about these awesome kidventions.
One more round of applause for Humber for Grade 7 and 8 students came to Humber College Tuesday afternoon to show off projects they've been working on for the past few months.
So they've worked on solving a problem in their daily life and then creating a solution to that problem, and then they've looked at whether that solution is something that could be marketed and who would their target audience be. They put all their information together, and then they've done presentations that are going to be given to people who are here at Humber today.
We spoke with students to find out what they have been working on.
First, we wanted to charge our phone using free energy,
and clean energy. So what we got a bike and a motor that was meant to charge a light bulb that goes in front of the bike. We first cut the wires to cut off the light bulb to instead charge the phone.
Whenever I go bike riding, my phone or my device dies while I'm bike riding with my friends. So we decided to make this invention.
We brought them to Humber because we really wanted them to have a experience of having a post-secondary institution that they could visit and sort of build on what they've learned in their science class.
So basically we made glasses, which increases your field of view. And so basically there's a side mirror right here. You can test it by having one eye, and then after, you can test it on this eye. By looking here, the mirror reflects on the other side.
The convention has been going on for the last 5 days over the course of 2 weeks, Humber College being the final stop.
Grades 7 and 8 students have been working on these assignments for several months from schools all across the GTA. I personally can say I am very impressed. We definitely have a bright future ahead of us. Katie Jones, Humber News.
When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Natalia Vega will have your 3-day forecast.
There's a slight chill in the air now, but as we move towards the end of the week, it'll get a lot brighter and a lot warmer. I'll have your full 3-day forecast after the break.
Some dramatic video today shot by police in California. It makes Toronto's potholes look like cute little dimples. The police caught this sinkhole as it was caving in. Watch the road slowly wrapping inward. It fell onto a sewage line about 6 meters below the surface. We're going to take a short break, but before we do, check this out. The elusive Loch Ness monster has finally been found. Sadly, it's just a long-lost movie prop. The 30-foot-long prop sank in the lake during filming for the 1970 film The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. It had been lost for almost 50 years before sonar images revealed its resting place. An underwater drone has been searching the lake for any clue to the old Nessie's existence. But the famous water beast might just be catfishing us after all.